The movie starts with an explanation of the black moon phenomenon. This is when there is no full moon within a calendar month. This only happens in February, about once every 19 years. The last black moon was in February 2018. The next full moonless month will be in 2037. The text explains that the movie is about a zulmat ritual that takes place on the black moon of 2018. A witch can be seen flipping through a book of zulmat. Zulmat means darkness. She is talking to an old woman who wants to do the zulmat ritual. The witch warns the woman that once she does the ritual, there is no turning back. The old woman, named Miral, is determined. She wants to do anything to avenge her husband and son who were unlawfully murdered by a man over a land dispute. The witch orders her to find a sacrifice. On the night of the zulmat, they will perform the ritual with the sacrifice. The witch tells Miral that once they are done with the ritual, she will need to bury her sacrifice. Miral accepts her condition. She finds a kid alone in a park and takes him as her son. The night of zulmat arrives and the witch performs the ritual to grant Miral's wish. The boy starts reacting to it. While the witch and her other accomplices are vigorously chanting, a man with a shotgun can be seen entering his house. He then shoots every one of his family members with no remorse, and then shoots. Miral's wish is now fulfilled. There is only one thing left, and that is to bury the sacrifice. The witch tells Miral that she has to do it alone. The witch tells her that the kid is now infected with demon blood. If Miral is unable to fulfill this last condition, she will suffer much worse than she already has. The witch gives her a cursed amulet, telling her to bury it alongside the kid. The next scene shows a man who seems to be a blacksmith forging something. He notices that it's the night of zulmat. He reads a book about zulmat and feels an ominous feeling around him. The next scene shows Miral applying for a job as a help in a household. The owner's wife, Arzu, is pleased with her and hires her. She introduces her to her youngest daughter, Ruya. She shares that Ruya suffered from a nasty illness and asks Miral to take good care of her. Ruya heads to her grandmother's room. She has dementia and doesn't seem to be in the right mind. She tells Ruya to go away, stating that someone else made her. Kemal, the head of the family who is a doctor, is having dinner with his family when her eldest daughter, Sarap, passes by. He asks her to have dinner, but Sarap says she isn't hungry. She is having a hard time adjusting as they just recently moved into this place, where she knows no one. That night, Miral feeds Lael, the grandmother. Lael suddenly tells Miral that if she sees Ruya, she should tell her not to visit Lael. She doesn't want to see her granddaughter, insisting that Kemal has turned her into someone else. Miral understands that Lael has dementia, and just lets her be. Miral is getting ready to retire for the night. She still carries the sack given by the witch and puts it in the drawer. She unpacks and sees her family's photo. She remembers the day when the man murdered her son and husband, ruthlessly. As she puts the photo in the mirror, her son's ghost suddenly appears, asking her why she did not keep her promise. The witch also appears telling her to keep her promise, and shows her the kid's ghost. Then, they're gone. It seems that Miral wasn't able to bury the and the final condition of zulmat is not met. Now, she's being haunted. The next scene shows Kemal pouring blood into glasses while Arzu joins him. He goes downstairs to check on Ruya, and finds her bloodied in the bathtub with Lael. Then he hears Ruya calling him from behind. He looks and there stands Ruya. When he looks back at the child he is carrying, it's the same kid that Miral used as a sacrifice. It seems that there is a connection between Miral and this family after all. Kemal wakes up and realizes it was just a dream. Sarap and Ruya are in their room. Ruya suddenly awakens when she hears her sister calling her. She approaches her, but when she uncovers her blanket, her sister is using her phone with earphones on. Sarap tells her to leave her alone. The next scene shows Orhan, the blacksmith in the earlier scene. He is still studying zulmat, trying to find a way to stop its cruelty. He suddenly gets a vision about the zulmat ritual performed by the witch. Then he senses a presence around him. Whatever it is, tell him to not get involved, or else he won't be spared. He fights it back, telling the evil to go away. He reads a passage from the scripture that states that if the ritual is not completed, the curse will grow, and the darkness will infect the innocent. In a rundown building in Bursa, Kazim, a child, tells the kids he trafficked to go out and make money for him. Then, he talks to his accomplice about Miral, who they caught trying to bury Mehmet, the child. They think Miral is a maniac, and fortunately, they found her before she could completely bury Mehmet. However, he mentions that the fugitive doctor ended up burying Mehmet. The connection between the Miral and Kemal is starting to unravel at this point. Ruya moves into another room as she doesn't want to stay with her sister anymore. Her dad brings her two dolls, named Ruya and Mehmet. He tells her never to separate the two dolls ever. One night while sleeping, Sarap suddenly hears her sister calling her, and she tells her to go away. When she looks, she sees a bloodied Ruya. Then, she wakes up from the dream. However, she hears Ruya again from another room and approaches her. Ruya says she is scared. When she enters her room, she sees Ruya in a corner, and when Ruya stands up, she suddenly grows bigger and bigger. Then, she wakes up again. She is in a dream loop. She hears the door rattling and Ruya comes in. After those dreams, Serap is already freaked out and freezes in her bed. This time, Ruya just hugs Serap, saying she's scared. Miral is woken up when she hears her son, Hassan, calling her. She follows the voice downstairs. Then, a hand suddenly taps her shoulder. No one is around her, but the hand keeps tapping her and then disappears. Hassan then shows up and tells her to keep her promise. He shows her Mehmet's body lying on the floor. The next day, Kamal wakes his mother up, telling her she has to give up her life for Ruya. He then ties her face using a tube filled with blood. He leads her to the basement staircase and pushes her down. Then, Kamal wakes up from the terrible dream. He immediately checks on his mother. As he is about to go back to sleep, he hears his mother calling him, saying she will be going now, for real. Kamal rushes to the basement and sees his mother on top of the stairs. She just looks at him and smiles, and then she falls down the stairs, ending her. The family conceals the truth from Ruya, telling her that her beloved grandma is just at the hospital. Kamal arrives home after being outside when Kazim approaches him. He blackmails Kamal into giving him $2 million. Kamal tells him that he doesn't have money to give him anymore. Kazim walks away after warning Kamal to be more careful. At dinner, Kamal notices Serap using her phone and tells her to put it down. Serap doesn't listen and Kamal gets angry. Serap argues that he doesn't understand how she feels. She forcibly brought them here, taking her away from all her friends. Then, she walks out. Miral remembers the night after the zulmat ritual, when Kazim finds her and then takes Mehmet away. In Bursa, Samet, Kazim's accomplice, is about to hit one of the kids for not bringing in enough money, when suddenly, Mehmet appears and stabs him. The last thing he sees is Mehmet's monstrous face, smiling creepily at him. Ruya is sleeping when she hears her grandmother calling her. She gets frightened when she sees her playing with dirt in a graveyard in the middle of her room. Her whole family is standing behind her, just watching. Lael tells her she's already gone, and not in the hospital. She suddenly grabs Ruya with her rotting hand, and Ruya screams. Her parents and Miral hear her and rush to her room. She tells them what she just saw. She is very scared and asks to sleep with Miral for the night. All the haunting is now getting into Kamal's head. He goes down to the basement and hears someone talking. He goes further down and sees Arzu and Serap watching as blood is being drawn from Mehmet and into Ruya. He tries to explain that he did not have any other choice. He had to take one life to save his daughter. Then, he wakes up. He also wakes his wife up and tells her he can't hide the truth anymore. He confesses that he took a life for Ruya. He was drawing blood from Mehmet, but he did not stop when he was supposed to, causing them to pass away in his desire to give Ruya more blood. Ruya suddenly walks in, and then, both her and Arzu's appearance change, as if they are possessed. They keep shouting that Kamal did it for his dear daughter. Even his mother shows up, and then her whole family including Mehmet stares at him, saying he did it for his daughter. Then, they all disappear. Kamal wakes up and finds his wife still sleeping. Miral is looking at Ruya while the child peacefully sleeps. She gets a call from Kazim. He's asking her what she is up to. It is revealed that she gave Kazim a ton of money just to learn more about the doctor who bought Mehmet. Then, that's when she applied as their maid. She recalls her meeting with the witch after the ritual. She confesses that she was not able to bury the boy as Kazim found her. The witch tells her that the boy is gone now, and his blood has been drained, then given to the doctor's daughter. The witch says she is her sacrifice now. She has to bury Ruya in place of Mehmet. Kazim is driving back to Bursa when he sees the kids in the middle of the road. He asks them why they are there. Then, a stone hits his leg so strong that his bones break. Another stone hits his head. He struggles to get back inside the car. As he attempts to continue driving, Mehmet appears beside him and grabs his arm, wearing a sinister smile. Kamal visits his mom's room and cries, apologizing for not being a good son to her. Then Ruya appears, together with Mehmet. They lead him down the basement where a video presentation is being shown. Arzu, Serap, Ruya, and Mehmet are all there watching. It is Kamal in the video, explaining how Ruya's sickness required her to have constant changes in blood. It eventually became so difficult for him to get the right blood that works for Ruya. This is when he found Kazim, who sold him Mehmet, whose blood saved his daughter. In the video, he says that the guilt has driven him crazy, and he started seeing things. Then, it is revealed that no one is actually in the room but him. The guilt is eating him so much that he is now driven to madness. Arzu hears him screaming and wakes up. She sees Ruya by the door and calls her. However, when the child speaks, it's not Ruya. Whoever is possessing Ruya's body tells her that her daughter will lose her life tonight. Arzu is shaking in fear. Then, a dark shadow attacks her, causing her to convulse. Serap is sleeping in her room when Arzu comes in. Arzu is now possessed by a demon, and she shoves her hand into Serap's mouth. When Serap opens her eyes, she becomes possessed too. A grave is already prepared in the garden. Miral wakes Ruya up and tells her they will play a game together. She explains that the game will be in the garden, and she needs to tape Ruya's mouth, then cover her head with the sack. The innocent Ruya happily agrees to the game, not knowing the consequences of this. Meanwhile, Orhan is aware that something bad is about to happen. He locates the doctor's house and senses a presence. The evil is telling him to stay away. He demands the evil to end its cruelty. Upon walking into the house, he senses that there is great evil in the house. He walks into a room and finds Serap and Arzu. He approaches Serap and asks her what her name is and why she's in these people's bodies. Serap looks up and her face shows she is fully possessed by a demon now. He demands the demon to tell him its name. Orhan declares he will not leave until he brings light into this darkness. The demons just laugh at him and tell him their name, Asfaragh. Orhan grabs their necks and starts exorcising them. Then, his consciousness is brought to the underworld. The demons reveal that the child was offered to them, and they are just taking their prize. The demons start chanting to the darkness. Orhan fights them by praying to his god to banish these demons to the darkest pit of Sijin. Using his amulet, he successfully defeats them. Miral is almost finished burying Ruya when Hassan appears before her. He tells her she doesn't have to bury the child anymore. Inside the house, Serap and Azur regain their bodies and consciousness now that the demons have been banished. Meryl takes Ruya back up from the grave and tells her the game is over. Meanwhile, in the basement, Kamal is still being haunted by the ghost of his mother. The last scene shows texts saying Miral, Arzu, Serap, and Ruya still live in the same house. It was revealed that Ruya did not have any illness and that her father was trying to make her look sick due to his psychological disorder, Munchausen by proxy syndrome. He has completely lost his sanity and has been undergoing treatment for 6 years. It is also revealed that this movie is written based on Meryl's story.